Hello, everyone. Hello. Wow, what a night, huh? This is amazing. So much fun. It's so wonderful to see everyone here tonight. This is an event that's been years in the making. Welcome to the opening celebration of the Benjamin Lincoln House. So exciting. Beautiful weather, too. My name is Jim Taylor, and I'm chair of the board of directors of the Hingham Historical Society. Today is a culmination of years and years of work by so many. But it's really a day to celebrate many things, including history, the love of a family, vision, determination, community support, and generosity. As many of you know, and I'm sure most of you know, the Benjamin Lincoln House has a really storied past. It was built in 1665, amazing, right, by Thomas the Cooper Lincoln, and underwent significant renovations in the 1700s. It's been the home to the Lincoln family and their descendants for 11 generations, some of whom are here tonight. So please welcome the Lincoln family and their descendants. Thank you very much for being here. With all due respect to the family, its most notable resident was Major General Benjamin Lincoln, who was a Revolutionary War hero. He famously accepted the British surrender at Yorktown and served as Secretary of War. More than just a figure in history, Benjamin was also a committed Hingham resident. He served as town clerk for over 20 years, and he's a founding member of New North Church, which is right across the way here. Yet the spirit of this house also reflects the life of Mary Cushing, Benjamin's wife. Despite the challenges of her time, Mary helped to raise 11 children in this home, 7 of whom reached adulthood. During the 8 years that Benjamin was away serving his country, Mary's resilience and strength were the linchpins that held the family and the household together. Her story is one of courage and devotion, qualities that imbue the very walls of this house. The Lincoln family's love and care for this home for the past 350 years have left us a legacy of memories. Think of all the joy, the laughter, the grief, and the resilience that the walls of that house saw. It's important to acknowledge that this house also has a complex history, including its ties to enslaved individuals. We're committed to uncovering and sharing all aspects of its past. The journey to this day, though, began in 2019 with the vision of some of our board members to preserve such an invaluable asset for the community. It led us to pursue the purchase of this amazing historic property. It was a bold step, one that required not only vision, but also determination and collaboration during the early days of the pandemic. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the tireless efforts and dedication of countless members and contributors who made this dream a reality. Your unwavering support and your generous contributions have ensured that this historic house will continue to serve as a beacon of our heritage and as a resource for education and cultural enrichment. Furthermore, this project would not have been possible without the significant support from the residents of Hingham and their approval to use community preservation funds to assist with the acquisition of the home. This commitment was instrumental in our ability to secure the Benjamin Lincoln House for future generations. Yes, thanks. Our goal, as always, has been to keep this treasure as a vibrant part of our community. Through educational programs, tours, and community events, we aim to make the Benjamin Lincoln House a living museum, a place where history is not just stored, but shared, not just remembered, but experienced. To everyone who has contributed, whether by donation, by time, or by encouragement, you have our deepest gratitude. Your generosity and support reflect the very best of our community spirit. With that, I'm pleased to turn the podium over to Matt Torrey, a current board member, Matt was one of those individuals who called us to ask how he could help in 2019. And we are so thankful of his and Amy's generosity and commitment to the purchase of the house and to the society in general. Matt?
Thanks very much, Jim. This is on, obviously. Jim has something like 1,000-word spoken limit, so here you're stuck with me for some of the MC activities for the evening. So thanks, Jim. This evening we were fortunate to be joined by special guests from our partners in historic preservation and commemoration. Please join me in welcoming supporter to the Benjamin Lincoln House campaign and Hingham resident behind me, Deborah L. Allenson. Deborah is the chair of the Board of Trustees of Historic New England.
Good evening. I wish you could look from my perspective and see you all. This is a fabulous looking group of people. You have turned yourself out very nicely tonight, I am happy to share. I'm really very excited to be here with you. This is a wonderful and important moment for our community. I do have the honor of serving as chair of the board of Historic New England. We were founded 114 years ago in 1910. We are the oldest, largest, and most comprehensive independent preservation organization in the United States. Yes, right in your own backyard. Here we are. So we are national leaders in the field of preservation, saving and sharing New England's architecture, landscapes, art, culture, and history. It has been proven that preservation strengthens the fabric of our communities. But I think you know that by the fact that you are here tonight. You have helped to do that for Hingham, for Massachusetts, for New England, for our country. People will travel from all over the world to visit our special Benjamin Lincoln House. Historic New England has played a direct role in this project. This property has been protected by our easements program since June of 2009. Currently, we have protections in place on 135 properties here in New England. Our program is the national model which other organizations now follow. You know, we're really very proud of that. And we're happy to have played a role in preserving this very precious Hingham property. We've also been consulting on programming and about the collections housed here. The Benjamin Lincoln House holds many precious items in its collections: furniture, documents, artwork, textiles, photographs, drawings, and more. They are important. Today, Historic New England quietly houses the largest collection in the world of curated New England artifacts. We have more than 125,000 decorative objects and over 1.5 million archival documents. These resources draw scholars all the time, but we want to turn these collections inside out. We want to invite the public to share them, and so we have embarked on an exciting and ambitious program to develop the Historic New England Center for Preservation and Collections in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Frankly, I can't wait to welcome you all there to the Visitor Center. It's underway and it's coming soon. 3 years ago, Historic New England initiated a new comprehensive effort to tell fuller, more inclusive stories connected to our sites and collections. We have funded scholars to uncover the stories of more than 300 individuals behind our 38 properties, bringing greater depth and nuance to our work. This type of work needs to be done for the Benjamin Lincoln property. The wishing well, where's the wishing well? Okay, the wishing well includes requests to fund research about this wonderful property in Hingham and the people who are part of its story, the workers, the enslaved, the indigenous population. These are important stories to learn and to share. So please be generous tonight and help fund this research. I'd like to invite you all to visit one of Historic New England's properties. We have 38 that will be opening for the season on June 1st. And the good news is they are free that day. Yes, so geographically, the properties closest here to Hingham are the Eustis Estate in Milton or Quincy House in Quincy. I have a few personal favorites that are only about an hour away, so I'll just list a few others if anybody felt like, they could put an hour or two in on this project. Try Gropius House in Lincoln, Massachusetts. Casey Farm in Saunderstown, Rhode Island. Roseland Cottage in Connecticut. Or Bowman House in Dresden, Maine. Come on out and visit us. June 1st, it's free. Yeah, everybody loves something that's free, right? So just to close, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Deirdre, to all the funders of this project, to the town of Hingham, to the staff of the Hingham Historical Society. You've done something important, something valuable, and something that is lasting. So cherish your success.
Thank you very much, Deborah. I now invite to the stage Jonathan Lane, Executive Director of Revolution 250, a consortium of over 70 historic sites and organizations working to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution.
I am normally an extemporaneous speaker, but Deirdre cruelly said I have 2 minutes. One of the cruelest things anybody's ever said to a member of my family. As correctly said, I'm the executive director of Revolution 250. We are a consortium, and we have been working since 2015 on the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. Perhaps the most common question I get is, when is that exactly? Mostly from people from Philadelphia. We are a consortium of organizations working on this, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank publicly the town of Hingham and the Hingham Historical Society for being two of our most loyal and significant participants in this organization. We couldn't really do it without you. I'm personally thrilled to be part of this event, not only because I have deep familial ties to this community that date back almost 400 years. Yes, the Lanes, my Lanes, were here, as are the Hobarts and the Burrs and the Fitches and others. And my very first historic house tour was here in Hingham at the Old Ordinary with my grandmother, Barbara, who lived on Ship Street. And I'm here to congratulate the people of Hingham and its elected leadership, the Historical Society of Hingham, and the Massachusetts Society of the Cincinnati for working on preserving the home of Major General Benjamin Lincoln, not just as a monument to a military and political leader during the American Revolution, but as the member of a family that produced numerous community leaders in Hingham and the nation. What you have saved is not a relic of the past, but a potential cure for the ills of today's society. For many, the past may seem foreign or irrelevant, something that holds back the progress of the present. Yet saving homes like this one help remind us that we are part of a larger human story filled with narratives of interconnected lives who celebrate victory, mourn tragedy, suffer defeat, but always strive for a higher purpose. And for those who say that the passion for American history is dead, let me remind you that just a few months ago, in a cold December night, we welcomed almost 20,000 people to watch the 250th anniversary of the dumping of the tea in Boston. Huzzah! Now, I will grant you that's about a third the size of the average Taylor Swift concert. However, as a long-standing public historian, it was heartening. In this semi-quincentennial commemoration, and let's all say it together, semi-quincentennial, there you go. The people in South Carolina use sesquicentennial because it's easier. Of American independence, you have given to the people of Massachusetts and beyond an important lesson. You have saved a historic home, and not just of any family, but a family of, as I said before, community leaders, leaders who served and sacrificed in times of peace and war to better the lives of their friends, their family, and neighbors. You have preserved a source of inspiration to future generations of what it means to be part of a community, both in the study of the home's former residents and in the work of historic preservation. And you have reminded the people of Massachusetts that preservation of the past is a symbol of our progress, not a sign of our stagnation. Thank you for taking a leading role in the ongoing commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. Thank you for your respect of the past, and thank you for supporting the preservation and interpretation of the Lincoln House in time for the 250th anniversary.
Thank you, Jonathan. I would now like to recognize the Town of Hingham Selectboard members, Chairperson Joe Fisher, Liz Klein, and Bill Ramsey, and invite them to the stage.
So we have a proclamation that we'd like to read, but before reading it, I would note that I am from Philadelphia. We do know when the 250th anniversary is. And in Philadelphia, when you say Benjamin, they think of Benjamin Franklin, as I'm sure you know. As you know, the Select Board has been behind this project 100%, and we salute everyone here for their support. I'm going to be turning this over to Liz Klein, Bill Ramsey, and then myself to read the proclamation.
Town of Hingham, Massachusetts, Benjamin Lincoln House Museum grand opening. Whereas the Benjamin Lincoln House, a cornerstone of Hingham's rich historical landscape, has stood as a symbol of our town's enduring legacy for over 350 years. And whereas Major General Benjamin Lincoln, a distinguished figure in American history, once called this historic dwelling his home, leaving an indelible mark on our community and nation.
Whereas the Hingham Historical Society, dedicated to the preservation and celebration of our town's storied past, has assumed custodianship of this venerable property, ensuring its continued preservation and access to future generations. And whereas, through the diligent efforts of the Hingham Historical Society, supported by the generous assistance of the Town of Hingham Community Preservation Funds, the Benjamin Lincoln House Museum is poised to open its doors to the public, offering a window into over 350 years of local and national history.
And whereas, with the world preparing to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution and America's 250th birthday in 2026, the grand opening of the Benjamin Lincoln House Museum represents a fitting tribute to our nation's enduring spirit and the pivotal role played by figures such as Major General Benjamin Lincoln. Now, therefore, we, Joseph M. Fisher, William C. Ramsey, and Elizabeth F. Klein, the Select Board of the Town of Hingham, extend our heartfelt congratulations to the Hingham Historical Society and to the Lincoln family on the auspicious occasion of the Benjamin Lincoln House Museum grand opening celebration. This was voted by the Hingham Select Board the 7th day of May, 2024. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much to the Select Board. I now invite to the stage Hingham resident and volunteer Julie Straley, who chairs the town's Community Preservation Committee.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to be here tonight to celebrate the Benjamin Lincoln House Museum, a team effort boosted by a grant from the Community Preservation Fund. Since the adoption of the Community Preservation Act in 2001, more than $26 million in grants have funded projects all across the town of Hingham in 4 CPA categories: open space, recreation, housing, and historic preservation. Take a Hingham Historical Yellow Golf Tour around Hingham Square, and you can see some important historic renovation and preservation made possible by community preservation funds at the Old Ordinary, the Annex, the Old Fort House, Ames Chapel up in Hingham Cemetery, the Hingham Heritage Museum, the steeple of Old Ship Church, the Memorial Bell Tower, the structure, and the bells inside. And then, of course, here, the Benjamin Lincoln House. I want to thank the members of the Community Preservation Committee who, in the fall of 2019, reviewed this grant application, and they understood the importance and the urgency of this request. They agreed to maximize the grant with a combination of that year's community preservation funds plus borrowing against future funds. Thank you, Larry Lindner, Dan White, Bob Mosier, Kevin Burke, Vicki Donlin, Kirsten Moore, Judy Sneath, and the late and very much missed Bill Harrington and Jim Watson. And finally, I want to thank the voters of annual town meeting. In the summer of 2020, in those early days of the pandemic, there was a lot of uncertainty about our present and our future. But that time, the townspeople of Hingham chose to remember and honor our past by voting to purchase this very special home. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I will now be joined by Hingham Historical Society Executive Director Deirdre Anderson as we acknowledge the Lincoln descendants and present the Society's inaugural award in Preservation Philanthropy. We are deeply honored this evening to have with us those who once called this museum home or who visited family here at 181 North Street over the decades. It is truly a remarkable story that these individuals preserved and stewarded this home into the 21st century. Please join me in recognizing the Lincoln descendants in attendance. I will ask each of them to please stand, if possible, and wave so that we may express our thanks. Please hold your applause until the end. Franklin S. Beveridge. Rose Bryant Woodard and Charlie Woodard. Sarah Woodard Goza. Caroline Woodard. Alida Bryant. Ann Bryant. Cynthia Bryant Parker and Hugh Parker. Cynthia Lincoln Scaife Gordon. And Christopher Scaife Gordon. Could we give them all a round of applause? Thank you so much for being with us tonight and for everything that you've done through the years to maintain and cherish and steward this home. I'd like to ask Franklin, Rosie, and Charlie to please join me on the stage so that we may recognize them. While they join us, I will say that Franklin Beveridge was the last child to grow up in this home, and Rosie and Charlie lived in and stewarded this home for the last 30 years. The Hingham Historical Society worked closely with Rosie, Charlie, and Franklin to plan the transition of this home from a residence to a museum. Please join me in thanking them. I'll ask Franklin, Rosie, and Charlie to please be seated with us here on stage while we present the Society's inaugural award of in Preservation Philanthropy. Like many of you here tonight, I grew up in Hingham. Since returning to Hingham with the perspective of an adult, I have concluded that it is the leadership impact of so many individuals that makes Hingham such a special place. I also believe that all of us need to step forward and make our own generational contribution to philanthropy and stewardship, much as the Lincoln family has here. I've always admired Jane Carr, sitting here front and center, and her efforts to provide leadership and philanthropic support to so many important institutions in Hingham, such as Derby Academy, the Hingham Historical Society, and South Shore Conservatory. I was always sort of amazed anytime I read anything about an organization here in Hingham. It seemed like Jane's name was on there somewhere. And so I've always really very much admired there. It's a little bit like, where's Waldo? Where's Jane? You know, she's on many boards in many places. It's like quantum physics. You know, you can be a particle and all these different things at the same time. It sort of boggles the mind. So when I read a Hingham Journal article in 2019 and realized that there was an opportunity to acquire the Benjamin Lincoln House, of course, who did I call? I called Jane Carr. We had a good conversation, and we agreed that I should next call Deirdre Anderson, my good friend, at the Hingham Historical Society. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Jane Cheever Carr played in this house as a child with Franklin's sister, Elizabeth, known as Lissa. In a lifetime spent in Hingham, Massachusetts, Jane has left an indelible imprint on our beloved community, which is why she was recognized as Hingham Citizen of the Year in 2018, a year before we even knew of the incredible opportunity that we celebrate tonight. When you think of South Shore Conservatory, Wellspring, Derby Academy, Milton Academy, South Shore, Norwell Visiting Nurse, St. John's, the Forbes House in Milton, and most significantly, the Hingham Historical Society, please think of Jane. All of these organizations are dependent on philanthropy, and Jane's consistent choice to not only give financially, but dedicate years of her life to these organizations is an inspiration to us all, a life of purpose for the greater good. We are so fortunate in 2019 that Jane, as a board member of the Hingham Historical Society, who had just completed its biggest capital project to date, said, we must preserve the Lincoln home. And on a November night in 2019, with Jane's leadership, embraced by the good energy in this home, and with several of you under this tent, we started the campaign. And to repeat a refrain often said, the rest is history. It is our honor to present the Society's inaugural award in preservation philanthropy to Jane Cheever Carr. Jane, will you please join us on stage?
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wow. What can I say? I'm glad I wrote down a few remarks because I'm sort of at a loss right now. But what a wonderful group to stand in front of. I have to say, it's pretty amazing. This award is for all of us. And if you haven't been involved, you will be. Everyone has played some part in the amazing continuation of the heritage of the Benjamin Lincoln House and all the remarkable people who have lived in and loved this home. Rosie and Charlie, Franklin, Albert, Lissa, most recently, and now with the help of Deirdre and her outstanding team. Please, a hand for her team. Thank you. Thank you. Including the support of the town fathers, the professional assessment from a team from Williamsburg, support of Historic New England, we can continue to celebrate the love and caring of several centuries of the ancestors of Benjamin and share this treasure with the world. As we stand on this piece of land and think of the footsteps that have braved the rigors of history on this property, now we have the challenge to continue this remarkable journey. I would love to think that the challenges we will face as we go forward will be cared for and solved by each one of us and generations to come. That is my challenge to all of us. As you leave here, please cherish the fact that you were here. You helped, supported, studied, archived, took care of the treasures of this property so that the students of history, young and old, will forever know the history of this treasure. Thank you so much for this honor. Let's not take my prize.
Don't go.
Uh-oh.
Stay with us now. I'll put your plaque on the chair.
Thank you very much, Jane. I'd now like to invite the Town of Hingham officials with us to join us back on stage. I'll ask all on the stage to please join me in standing and approaching the ribbon for a photo opportunity and to ceremonially open the Benjamin Lincoln House. Look, we will give Jane the big scissors.
I get to open it?
Yes, we get to do, yep, so we're gonna, I'm gonna move this. Thank you, Joe.
The water bottle's there. Yeah, don't get too close to me.
I want you to get close to me.
Thank you, Rosie. Yeah.
That's good.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
Can we get a huzzah?
Thank you. It's not my style.
All right, I got you. Here, you can come sit.
I get to sit.
Thank you. To me?
Yep.
Me?
Wow, that was so much fun. I've never actually cut a big ribbon like that, and not quite sure where they got the scissors. It's a very tall family who lives somewhere that needs those. But what an amazing night. I mean, seriously, it's really hard to follow Jane. It's hard to follow everyone here. So to conclude tonight, I want to extend a really warm thank you to all of you for being here. This has been an incredible night. The pictures from tonight will end up in our archives along with the 12,000 other things that we currently have. So you can be assured that in the future, in 100 years, they'll be looking at how we're dressed thinking, oh my gosh, they dress like that? I also want to remind you, really most importantly, that the Hingham Historical Society is an independent nonprofit. We're relying on your generosity for the upkeep of our 3 historic properties, the field trips and tours that we provide to hundreds of school children every year, the educational lectures we put on, and all the other community events that we host. Please don't hesitate and forget to stop at the wishing wall. This is an ongoing, we think about fundraising every day. That's how we're able to put on all these wonderful events. And again, please don't hesitate to stop by, and we appreciate all of your generosity and your willingness. We can't do any of this without you. So thank you. I'd like to just thank a few folks. So we have a tremendous team of volunteers that volunteer their time for the society every day, whether it's providing tours, doing archive work. Thank you so much to all the volunteers. And we always have room for all of you that are looking to volunteer. Thank you for past and current directors of the society. You give your time and treasure and good counsel to us, and thank you for bringing us where we are today. And then lastly, thank you to all of you that have contributed to this incredible event tonight. Lastly, though, and I think Jane stole my thunder, I want to thank the incredibly hardworking team at the staff of the society, led by Deirdre. I mean, really? None of this is possible without their hard work. They're an amazing team. It's like they put on a wedding a week, it feels like. It's unbelievable the details that go into all of this. And we're really lost without them. So we're so appreciative of the entire team of the society. So with that being said, thank you so much for being here. For those that have purchased tickets to the dinner, please proceed to the Hingham Heritage Museum for the dinner. And for those that are going off on their own, be sure to ask for the curated drinks or desserts at the various restaurants that are participating tonight. So I think Square Cafe, Tosca Cafe, they'll all have certain things you can order under tonight's celebration. So with that being said, thank you all for attending, and good night.